Welcome to the third episode of Project Passion. We're here with BoggzyTime. Welcome to the Project Passion, where we talk about basically our passions and hopefully inspiring people to try new things. Once you introduce yourself really quick, just kind of give some couple things about you.
You know that Project Passion sounds like a softcore porn reality series, right, Cole?
And now we know that.
Well, my name is Joey, and I go by online. I go by Boggzy, and my Twitch is BoggzyTime because some jerk took the name Boggzy. Who am I? Gosh, well, I've been an actor in Los Angeles for 13 years, and during the quarantine, I started streaming. I started a podcast at the behest of a friend of mine, a clan leader for the game that I was playing, World of Warships by Wargaming. And I was asked to do a podcast with my clan leader because he knew that I had a background in performance. So we started doing a podcast, and then I started streaming World of Warships on Twitch in order to draw more attention to the podcast. And then eventually the stream surpassed the podcast, so I started using the podcast to feed Twitch.
Yeah, that's how you do it, man.
Yeah, and then fun thing that Twitch grew enough that I was able to become a community contributor for World of Warships. It's just basically a content partnership that allows me to get access to new content before it's available so that I can do reviews on it. I can sometimes show it off here and there. It got me a little bit of sponsorship from the company itself, which was great.
Yeah.
Helps a lot. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I'm likely here chatting with you. I don't know. Can I tell everybody the other reason why you and I know each other?
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, man, you just riff it. Go for it, honestly.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, Cole and I know each other because we used to work together at a bar restaurant in Los Angeles. And it was always a pleasure working with Cole. We got along famously. And right before the pandemic, I think, you had told me that you were streaming on Twitch, and I was just bedazzled by you doing that, because I always thought Twitch streamers were so cool. I had watched Twitch streamers. I had gotten into, the only one I had really gotten into streaming wise was the Hearthstone community a couple of years back when I played Hearthstone.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah,
I found you in the break room playing Hearthstone. Like at one point.
That's right. So the Blizzard when Hearthstone was released, Blizzard, I think, very wisely put lots of effort and money and energy into building this sort of, I want to call them like a vanguard of these streamers who were charismatic and fun and engaging and really well traveled and well played. They promoted and they sponsored. They did tournaments with them. They did all sorts of like almost reality shows type stuff with them. And those people just became landing pads or maybe launch pads where all these new
all the people come in.
Yeah, and it was enough to even get me. I loved watching some of those Twitch streamers, especially he's a fella named Sean Day9 Plots. His name is Day9, Sean Plots.
Oh, his name is Day9?
Yeah, his gamer handle is Day9.
Why does it sounds familiar, but I mean,
he's been all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just delightful, and specifically regarding him, just in case he ever hears this.
Yeah.
He has one of those laughs that's just, it's the most heartwarming laugh, infectious laugh.
So basically what every streamer or YouTuber wants, that level of charm, just that little thing. Yeah.
So like to the point where like sometimes if I had a bad day at work or something like that, I would literally go, God, when I go home, I'm just gonna YouTube best of Day9. Yeah. And you just see him like crack himself up, and it just always put a smile on my face. So
yeah, Day9.
It was really exciting for me when I heard you were doing it, and then the pandemic happened, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. No. I'm gonna do my best. So yeah, that's sort of.
Yeah, that was honestly, it was cool to see. I was like, I never like anticipate how much people grow, but you picked a game that I was just like, and that's it. I was like not against it. I mean, it was just like something I'd never even thought of. Like World of Warships I was like, that game is fun. That game is cool. I've seen it around, but there's just so many games on Twitch. There's so many categories.
Yeah, how do you pick one, right?
How do you pick one? And you picked one and you stuck with it. And honestly, it worked out really great. But why don't you explain really quick what like World of Warships is?
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people might not even know what it is. It's pretty simple.
It's possible. So World of Warships is one of the flagship, pun intended, games from
I hate you.
Wargaming. Wargaming's main product is World of Tanks. And
is Tanks bigger than ships?
Way bigger. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's because tanks started in like 2011 or 12, I think. I forget.
Okay.
And I was playing maybe a year into it, and I played for 4 or 5 years World of Tanks, and then I got a little burned out on tanks. But I liked this YouTuber and Twitch streamer called the Mighty Jingles.
Great name.
The Mighty Jingles, I know it's a great name.
Great name.
Jingles would stream and make content on World of Warships as well, and I liked that. So I just, because of him, marketers, listen up. Because of him, I started playing World of Warships, and then I got involved in that. I liked the slightly slower pace. I really like I like war history stuff in general. I'm one of those guys. Tanks, ships. It really got my inner child like thinking about tanks and planes and boats.
Yeah, like you're exactly. You know, playing in the backyard, playing little sketches. I mean, I like flip. I played what is it, Battle Stations on the PS1, and I played. Who hasn't played Battleships? Yeah. It's one of those games actually really simple to explain to people. It's like, I play World of Warships. What do you? Oh, we fight with battleships. Oh yeah, easy. Like we understand that. We Navy warfare.
Arcade style, 12v12. Destroyers, cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers blowing each other up over the span of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Simple.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's super simple. And unlike me, where I pick games, it's like, what are you? Well, you're playing Dark Souls, and you're trying to decide whether to relight the flame of the world or kill the old gods and let it go into darkness. It's like, have fun explaining that to people.
Yeah. So for everybody listening, Cole and I also, we worked in Hollywood as performers for quite a while, and
good Lord.
There's such a thing as like pitching someone, and then there's such a thing as boring somebody. And pitching someone is when they say, "Oh, okay, what's your script about?" You say, "It's a lighthearted comedy about what happens when a newlywed couple has to see each one of their divorced parents for Christmas. It's called Four Christmases.
Yeah.
You know what the problem.
I was like, wait, that sounds like a fun movie. Oh wait, that is a movie.
It's Four Christmases. Yeah. You know exactly what it is. You know what the tension is going to be because they're newlyweds, so things are always a little tumultuous no matter what. You're testing out the relationship, and it's like, what do you have to do? Well, Christmas with one parent is hard enough, but you have to do all four in one day.
Right.
Done. I know exactly what this movie's going to be. But then again, Dark Souls, well, you're trying to get like this crystal, and the crystal is only available to those that are like pure of heart, and you're like, well, am I pure of heart? I don't know.
Filthy casual. No.
That's when the person slams their beer and says, "You lost me the second whatever."
Yeah, it's so you picked a game that's definitely easy to explain to people across the board. Now,
Arcade game 12v12, World War II battleships, destroyers, and cruisers blowing each other up.
Simple. I think the game I play now is closer to that in terms of just like mechanically, but even then, it's League of Legends, and it's like.
Oh, you're playing League of Legends?
Yeah, I switched over almost completely to League so League variety. But I kind of want to start. I know it's like we'll definitely come circle on back, as they say in corporate world. I need to start asking every single guest. How would you define passion?
Sure. Gosh. Well, I think I'd say it in two ways. It's the thing it's the thing you can't not talk about. So I think we've all done that thing. Yeah, I think we here in Los Angeles will all know that like you can be talking to somebody and hearing about what they're talking about, and your eyes will just sort of glaze over a little bit. If you're really good actor, right, okay. You add lots of affirmative nonverbals in there, and that lets them know you're still listening, even though you're not. If something triggers you in the middle of it, and you go, "Wait, what?
Yeah,
I love that. Wait, shooty pixel boats." That's great. I love World War history. My grandpa was on,
shooty pixel boats.
Shooty pixel boats, man.
Can you, if you ever get the chance to work with that company specifically, you in your marketing, I want you to put that under the thing. I'm pretty sure they would like it. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Professional shooty pixel boater.
Boggzy. I'm gonna put that in the description now.
Professional shooty pixel boater.
Professional shooty pixel boater. Okay.
So I mean, the passion, I would just, without sounding cliche, I would just say it's something that you can't not think about. Some people, for them it's acting, and like acting is their passion, which means they want to be performing. And sometimes I would even argue that most actors, their passion is really performance. They need to be doing something. They need to be expressing themselves or drawing attention in some way. And sometimes that's healthy, and they figure out like, oh, I'm going to make a TikTok, and I'm going to figure out what I find funny or what I find interesting, and then I'm going to, formalize that so I can repeat it over and over again with slight variation. Or they turn sour and become narcissistic, and that sucks. And
work at restaurants.
Yeah, and that's no good. But
it's honestly though the sourness I totally get, because like we could, it's easy to understand like that your passion, the thing that you wanted to do, is the thing that's just not working. And acting is such a unique thing. It's similar to streaming, but it's actually way different, because on streaming you can at least be more gratifying because you can do it constantly. You can practice. You can't always do acting.
Exactly. That's a really, really good point, and that's something that, I mean, you know, if I were to ever have advice for someone wanting to act, I'd say, look, you know, acting doesn't mean just being in a film or being on TV. It means you are performing in some way, and even if you have to start small, you have to find a way to work it. So, and that means you need to learn how to write. You need to learn what a business is.
That
I went to theater
alone,
school, and I never learned what a business was.
That alone has killed me more often than anything
Absolutely.
else. That's the one that's
Absolutely.
killed me. Like, that was the thing I should have grabbed onto, and I never did. I
If
mean,
you're in school right now listening to this and you're like, I'm going to school for theater, I'm going to school for creative
please
painting,
take a
or
minor
whatever,
in
it's like,
business.
minor in business, so that you can take that stuff and make it valuable, because no one, like,
It's not a plan B. It's not plan B. It's literally it's knowledge, and it's knowledge that you need.
it's necessary for plan A. Like,
It's necessary for plan A, and no one preps you for plan A, because we all hear the whole, like, you know, just believe in your art, and just like all the cliches that only work for rich people. I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's this very wishy-washy, cliched thing of, like, you know, I was my eyes roll back in my head a little bit when I hear someone say, like, you know, art is just the most important thing in the world.
No, it's not, but okay.
Well, I mean, in some way it is, but, like, you don't eat art. Like, it doesn't sustain you. It's just an expression. So, like, how about you learn how to market your art? Learn what makes art valuable, you know?
If there's anything I
You
need to
can-
learn right now, it's what you just said, that sentence. But
Yeah, how to make your art valuable. And, like, no, here's the thing that I think that especially college students these days don't get. No one owes you value. Yeah, every human being is intrinsically value, of course. I'm not arguing against that, but, like, just because you made something doesn't mean anyone has to give a shit, you know? Like,
no, that's fine.
they don't. They don't have to. You need to figure out how to make them care, and that's incumbent on you to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand that at all.
Honestly, I don't think I understand that until recently, until I started doing the streaming stuff, and it's something that has just been when you say that, it hits very close to home, because it's very, very true. You know, you want like X amount of viewers because there's certain thresholds you want to hit for streaming.
Sure.
And no one owes you those views. You have
Nope.
to give them like you said, you have to give them a reason to come in. You have to give them a reason to come into your stuff, and then on top of that, you have to know the marketing and the business and everything else between.
Could you imagine if you, like, walked into a Discord, right? Like, and you either walked into a voice channel or even into a text channel, and you said, "Society is not fair to small-time streamers. You all owe me a follow and a view. Like, get on it right now." You mean,
Don't do that, folks.
yeah, that's not a suggestion to do that, by the way, guys.
Yeah, no, don't.
That was an imaginative exercise.
Actually, on that note, quick side tangent, please get rid of your self-promo sections in your Discord across the board. I disagree with them wholeheartedly because of that.
What, self-promo? You mean, like, where you
No,
post your
there's
links?
like, you know, channels, like in the Discord, you have like multiple channels. One of the channels that's very popular is self-promo. And you put like, people will only come in there, and they'll only post in the self-promo channel. They'll never become a part of your community. They think it's just another hub. But honestly, no one looks in there. No one ever goes down there to like look. And secondly, it is very, very just like what you just said. Hey, come look at me. I haven't built this community, but I think this community should come over here. That's just
especially if you're like
side
if you're a
tangent
streamer,
over.
especially a variety streamer. Like that's for you. You don't have to share it. You're not obligated to share it.
Actually, it's so yes, exactly. So you and I are very similar in a way that it's just like we kind of started around the same time. Relatively, we started around the same time. You started sooner. You started later. You started later, but you did it in a way that I recommend pretty much everybody do now, because I have done the other side. I have done variety. Variety is I don't want every single episode to become about streaming, but this needs to be said. Variety streaming is dead unless you can do like some crazy things. And I'm talking like, there's some streamers like Ludwig, Code Miko, or people like that who are unbelievably creative. And Code Miko, for those of you who don't know, a girl that was studying computer sciences, I'm pretty sure this is her story, and she basically made her own basically animated avatar. But it's so well done, and she turns it into an interview thing where she interviews other streamers and she just brings them on, and she's like the most out-of-pocket, out-of-the-box character you've ever met, because she does this persona thing.
Yeah.
So
she's highly creative and talented and savvy enough to know how to take all those good
Mm.
things and turn them into something that will sustain her, and that's so difficult.
Yeah, no. So she did that, and Ludwig comes up with a crazy challenge literally every day. Whether he steals it or not, it's irrelevant. Like, I don't think he does personally. But I was just saying, he makes it his own. Like, he does something so well. They both do that. Those are the only like true variety people that I know of right now on the platform, and they're obviously huge. He stayed up for freaking. He streamed for 30 days in a row. Sleeping streams. Like, he did everything for 30
streams.
No, he recorded it. Like, yeah, he was like recording his streams, like, because there's a way around that on Twitch, actually, because you can do that. As long as you have an editor on or somebody on that can turn off the stream if something bad goes down, you can do a sleeping stream.
I see. Wonder how you prove that. You prove that you have an editor watching.
It's more or less like if something bad goes down, like, and no one's there, kind of thing. Like, there.
Oh, then it's clear after the fact you did not have this safeguarded play.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have a moderator watching who could literally turn off your stream or something like that.
Only like editors can turn off the stream though. So yeah, I think you can give a command to a mod to like turn it off, but that shouldn't be too hard.
You know, you and I have talked briefly about this, just, you know, chatting as buddies, but I mean, maybe we should discuss the difference between, not difference necessarily, but like the ups and downs of variety stream versus like solo.
That's what I was getting to. Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I went off. I went into this tangent. Sorry. I'm getting used to that. So yes. So I was going to say, I was giving you props, essentially saying like, you're doing it the way we should do it. You stuck with one game. It was a middle tier like game, essentially. It's not super popular, but it's not super, people know about it. It has a consistent viewer base. It has a consistent community, which is great, which allows you to get seen easier and connect. You did everything right, and you got partner within like a year, essentially, or in a year, within a year, or over a year.
I think I got offered Twitch partnership just after a year of actual streaming.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, there's three levels of like streaming. There's like there's nothing, you just stream, and then you just nothing, and then there's affiliate, which you can start making money off Twitch. People can tip you with their within Twitch currency, which is like its own private currency. That's another topic. And they have something called subscribers, which is not like YouTube subscribers to make it more confusing.
It's more like a Patreon almost.
Basically, it's like a Patreon. People can come in, they pay you $5, and you split it 50-50. Anyway, you can make money as an affiliate, and then there's partnership, which means it's like the purple check mark. It's like the blue check mark on any other platform. It's what all streamers really, really want, to be honest.
Sort of like verified, you know.
Yeah, it's a verified, but it's harder to get than a lot of sites, I'd say.
Yeah, it's the stamp of approval from Papa Jeff Bezos.
From Papa Space Jeff Bezos.
Papa Bezos, yeah.
Papa Bezos. That is how you get your approval. But so yeah, you did it. And you did it within a year,
I can point to a few very specific things that helped me, because I mean, I could imagine somebody hearing this and going like, "Oh, that's all you gotta do, guys, play one game, cool." So people sort of need a reason to watch you, right? And if you just turn on OBS or whatever your streaming software is, turn on your game, you just start streaming to Twitch, you're gonna have one viewer, you, and you're gonna show up at the bottom of the list on the browsing section. And people will see a tiny thumbnail of a freeze frame of your screen. And number one, there needs to be something there to draw them to your stream. Whether it's the title, it's a clever, funny, nihilistic, or appropriate title, whatever it is, it needs to be something that would make a person go, "Oh, that's what they're doing." In World of Warships, it's like, today I'll be playing the Minnesota all day long, or the Missouri all day long. Oh, I like the Missouri. Cool, I'll check it out. Or you need to have maybe something visual in your stream that would grab someone's attention. And then once you grab people's attention, which takes time, you sort of need to then find a reason to keep people coming back. I would say this odd blend of consistency and variety. And I don't mean like the stream in general. I mean within your stream, having consistently, like for me, example, I play the same game. So people who like World of Warships could consistently come back and find me. But I need to figure out some sort of variety every stream to do, so that if they check, wonder what he's doing today in World of Warships. Yeah. So what I did, I actually happened to have a podcast at the beginning. This got me a little bit of a leg up, because I had been asked to do a podcast by the leader of my clan, who was somewhat notorious in the highly competitive end of World of Warships. So I kind of got hitched to that notoriety. We made a podcast together. Suddenly, my name, my voice, my personality became familiar because of the podcast to a large swath of the competitive community. That equaled credential. That equaled, maybe that's the right word, credentials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notoriety?
So then to come to watch me is that's the podcast guy. And it didn't start quickly. It started slow, but people could come and I could say, I would literally start advertising the stream on my podcast. So I could start funneling people both ways.
Mhm.
Suddenly I have like two sources of entrance for people who want to come see my stuff.
You can also plug your podcast, by the way. I'll throw it at the end, but like.
Okay, so my podcast is called Get to Know World of Warships. It used to be Get to Know a World of Warships clan, where we cataloged and interviewed clans. We wanted to know about the people behind them, how the clans work.
No.
We interviewed a clan that was like 50 sub clans. It was just this giant Death Star of clans.
Megalith,
interviewed-
the Jews.
Yeah, we interviewed a French Canadian clan, the Quebecois.
What are they called?
Well, I mean, they were Quebecois, so they're French Canadians.
Quebecois? Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Quebecois is the name for the people from Quebec.
Perfect.
French people from Quebec. And then we interviewed like a clan of bronies. You familiar with bronies?
Those are still around?
Oh yeah,
Oh no.
they are bros that like My Little Pony.
The bros that
not
like
a
My Little
joke.
Pony. Okay.
They really do.
Yeah.
So we went through a long list of clans that had different cultures and different, ways of approaching the game, and we kind of wanted to get an idea of who's behind the names in game, and then eventually we wanted to like start having people come on who were really good at specific ships. We wanted to start having content creators come on to talk about what they make, or streamers or what have you. So we sort of loosened the rules on it, and we changed it to just Get to Know World of Warships. 86 episodes. Tomorrow I'm speaking with one of the two in-house streamers for World of Warships EU.
So like
He's
the
one of
official
their
one.
Yeah, he's one of their community engagement leads. He streams on their official channel, and we're going to be talking specifically about, I'm calling it the Ghosts of Warships Past, because we're going to go through all the features that 5 years ago were in World of Warships, but
that they
were
removed.
because, as time goes on in games that are consistently being updated, people go, that wasn't such a good idea, was it?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure any game with a continual like base like that probably has a bunch of that stuff going on. Game modes, ideas, balancing issues.
Oh yeah, balancing, evolution, game modes, new ships, new camos, new
actually, how
competitive
is
format.
So I actually know very little about the World of Warships in terms of like balancing. Is the community very much up to, like, are they up to date, like in terms of, do they fix problems quickly, like if there's like a balancing issue?
I'm gonna say generally no.
Okay.
The developers are Russian, and they have regions in Asia, America, Europe, and Russia. Those are 4 different regions. So I would say they're balancing, from this is just my perspective, they balance the game for random battles,
Right.
12v12. They generally speaking don't balance it for competitive, because Warships is a game where if you play 100 battles, you'll be like, I get this. I can play this fine. But the skill ceiling is exceptionally high, I would say. So at competitive levels,
similar to League, this is going up the same alley. So yeah,
at competitive levels, of which I'm probably in the top 0.5% players, I would say, without bragging. And things get so highly optimized that you can pretty much say, oh no, if this is the clan battle, if this is the competitive battle format, you can take a handful of ships. There's like 300 and there's like almost 400 different ships in the game, and in clan battles you can be like, right, but we're only gonna take 5.
Wait, there's 400 ships?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
there's tier 1 through 10 of
right. I've played. The only
and-
time I've played is when I played with you, and we got like, I scratched the surface. It was like it was. I loved it. It was fun.
You're pretty good, by the way. You caught on really fast. You must play video games.
Crazy, right? I can figure out games pretty quickly. But no, it was fun because it was just like something that I don't usually get to stream. So it was like something I don't get to usually play. I picked the aircraft carrier, which I thought which for some reason I was like, we're gonna play battleships. We're gonna play battleships, but I'm gonna fly the plane. I'm gonna play the plane instead of actually driving the ship.
Guy tries to play World of Warships, gets into a plane immediately.
Yeah, that comes from like my gaming background of like Ace Combat, like Ace Combat 6, Ace Combat 5, 4.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Don't fit up that alley. But yeah, keep going. I want to ask you about like your gaming stuff in a little bit.
Sure. Well, I mean, so for me, it wasn't an accident, but at the same time, I was able to get a foothold quickly because I had the benefit of being asked to do something special by a guy who already had a lot of clout.
Mm.
He was notorious for a few reasons, but you know,
Wait, why was he
notorious.
notorious? Why was he notorious? That's the thing I don't understand.
So he was notorious because he had started this clan called the New Guys, and they had actually risen to competitive levels pretty quickly. But there's something called the Pareto distribution, which means that talent and resources generally tend, in any hierarchy, tend to accumulate quickly towards the top.
I'm sorry, you called it the Pareto distribution? Is that what you said?
Pareto distribution, yeah, it's a scientific.
You're an
I
actor.
don't know
You're
if
not
it's a
supposed to listen. You're an actor. You're not supposed to be smart. So tone it down. No, I'm just kidding.
True. Well, the Pareto distribution absolutely applies to the entertainment industry too.
No, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that before. So it makes
of
total
all
sense.
the movies made,
Yeah.
almost all the money is made by just a couple of movies.
Yep.
Those ones are called the Avengers.
Yeah,
the Avengers,
pretty much.
Titanic, and Star Wars.
The blockbusters. But yeah, keep going. So he was doing,
Yeah. Of all the actors in the world, of which there are plenty, most of the money and most of the work that generates money is done by a select few people. So, in a competitive game like World of Warships, generally speaking, after the first few competitive seasons, what you start to see is the most competitive people accumulate in the same couple of clans, right? And that's just how it's happened. There's one hyper dominant clan basically that runs the NA server for the most part.
Right.
So for a guy like, my former clan leader, he he sort of was like, well, I cannot beat these guys on skill alone. But what I can do is, rather than play a game of World of Warships with them, I can play the game of clans. Which when he said that to me, I was like, oh, that's so badass.
Wait, so what was he doing specifically?
The clan is called 07. That's the 07 is the in-game
the
text,
salute.
by the way, for the salute. 07.
Yeah.
My clan was called TNG, the New Guys, which started a little afterwards. So my clan leader knew I can't attract the type of talent that these guys can, because they're already established as some of the top guys. So what he did instead was he built multiple clans, and he built a system in which new people would come in consistently until he basically found, as quickly as possible, as many of the people who were good enough that they could learn and compete at that level if they were put under the right instruction. And then he found the guy who could teach them.
Wait, so he basically made like a sports level like tier system. Like here's
Yes.
the AAA, AA, and here's like, we'll get all the best guys up. Okay,
that's exactly what it did. It's almost like
that's clever.
Sifting through a river or a creek or a stream for gold. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you may not be able to make a full gold ring yet, right? And be a champion. But if you have one guy who knows how to find gold, or like you know how to find gold, and then you need somebody to turn those little nuggets of gold into a gold ring, then you go, great, I'm going to sift through everything I can as fast and as economically as I possibly can, feed them to this guy who can teach them properly.
Who was the guy who taught him properly?
His name is Cowboy.
Perfect. We're sending you to Cowboy.
Cowboy was an exceptionally good strategist, which Warships is a game of strategy, mostly. And then once everybody is on the same level tactically, then it's about strategy. So Cowboy was able to teach competent players quickly how to work properly. And then it became a numbers game. You play more games than they do. Even if you lose to them 60-70% of the time, to the top players, you're still playing more often than they are. So you're facing the lower clans that are not as good as you more often. You will accumulate more points and you can suddenly compete with them.
Got it.
The guy's kind of an evil genius.
So that's like some Moneyball level stuff right there we're looking at here, but for World Warships.
I mean, you never think that someone might put real
effort
thought
into a game like this. I mean, it's actually, but here's the thing, like, honestly, there's some, like, you just kind of revealed a little curtain behind, like, that there is this culture behind these games. It's not just people playing games. Like, there's like the people that are legit manipulating like small things behind the scenes, which you never even think about. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, if we looked at League or Call of Duty, like team things, we would find that there is some things like that where, like, oh, that player was over here and then they switched over to this team, and then, like, because this person because whatever mastermind manipulator there is behind the scenes, and you just don't even no one thinks about it.
I mean, it's absolutely true. And honestly, like, those are things that can be those are skills that can be either translated from the real world into a video game, or if you're somebody who saw success in a video game, you have to ask yourself, like, what did I do right?
Yeah.
How do I apply that? Where does that fit in the real world? Oh, well, if I'm a recruiter for a company, My job is to find the best possible people and then feed them to the person who can make the best use out of them. Oh, well, then my job is to find the most efficient way of finding the best people and then extracting out the people who aren't as good.
You could literally put that on a resume.
You could literally put that on
a resume. Say, yeah.
I feel like so many people must not know how to populate a resume nowadays.
I feel like, well, I mean, like I had to go through, I went to the job hunt recently, so it's tough, especially for entertainment industry people. It is rough, especially like, what'd you do? Well, I was an actor. No one cares.
No, great. What have I seen you in? I was on the pilot of Cougar Town in the first 3 minutes. Cougar Town.
Were you?
That's the one about pumas attacking sheep out in Texas, right?
Wait. Seriously, were you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I had a little tiny spot on the pilot episode of Cougar Town where it was a Courtney Cox show back in the day.
I remember it, but yeah, I never watched it. It was on CBS.
In the first 3 minutes, they have to make their Hollywood pitch. They have to establish that in this show, women in their 40s and 50s date men in their 20s. And they have to establish that as an accepted and normal thing, and so that you can go throughout the rest of the show and, believe
they set the rules for the show.
They set the rules for the show, exactly. So Courtney Cox is sitting in the bleachers of a football stadium at a high school football game with her friend, and she turns around and she points out in the back of the stand. She goes, okay, that guy, son or boyfriend? And it cuts to me, who's sitting, all of fresh-faced 25 years old at the time, with a woman who was 50. They go through this back and forth little thing of like, is he your boyfriend? Is his son? It's his son. It's her son. No, it's her boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. And then she plants a big old wet smooch on my face. Aha. We are boyfriend and girlfriend, 25-year-old male dating 50-year-old woman. This is our show. That was my little, hey, Ma, look at me. I'm on TV.
Hey, Mom, kissing a 50-year-old woman your age.
Kissing a woman your age.
Kissing a woman your age on TV. I'm proud of you, Joey.
Funny little thing I love to tell people about that too is that when that woman who I was on set with that day, making out with on camera, when she was, I think it was back in the 80s, she was a model in New York. She was working as a professional model in New York in the 80s. Her roommate and sometimes boyfriend was Fabio.
Oh,
which. I mean, interesting in and of itself, sure, but I had also just been on a date with a girl, 24 years old, who had just dated Fabio.
Oh.
Yeah. That was really she's like, I hope that doesn't make you feel weird that I just dated Fabio. I'm like, it doesn't make me feel weird. How does it make your parents feel? She's like, oh, they whatever.
She didn't tell.
She's not my girlfriend anymore. I think I should point that out.
And your girlfriend's awesome, by the way. Just
Yes.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is pretty good. Cole, you met her at the.
I met her one time.
Holiday party at work, right?
Yeah, I did. You guys, that was like your second date or something like that. I want to say
no.
For a couple months or something like that, right?
We've been dating for 2 months. Yeah.
2 months, yeah. It was really recent. Like that was the thing. I remember that. You were like the only two people I like talking to. No, I'm sorry. That's the only people I actually had conversations with because everyone was hammered past that point.
You guys listening, you guys should all see Cole get dressed up for a party. The man is dapper AF.
Thanks.
Dapper City.
You mean my beanie and my friend's t-shirt doesn't sell it?
Dapper AF. You, because you had I think you were just starting to grow that hair at that time, right? No, you had it for a while.
So the long hair, yeah.
Fantasy elf hair.
Yeah, thanks. The fantasy elf hair. Yeah. So I went from LA to Hawaii. Hawaii, I had normal hair, and then when I came back, I decided just to grow it when I was there. So I got the job at the Perch, and that was the longest I'd ever had my hair. And I let it grow the entire time I worked there. So
really, I didn't realize it was growing that whole.
The entire time. Yeah. Oh wait, I said the name of the restaurant. That's where I worked. Yeah.
Neither of us work there anymore.
Neither of us are there anymore, so I don't care. It was a Perch. It was a restaurant. It was a nice place. It was a really cool place. Honestly, fine. It was a job that actors and performers get. We get restaurant jobs, and that's what you did because it's easy in terms of hours, and you still get paid pretty decent.
Since this is called the Passion Project, it might be worth pointing out that I think Cole and I can both agree that the issue with a really top tier restaurant job, bartender, server, what have you, for someone who's in a city to be a performer, the problem is that there's really not much higher you can go than that.
Honestly, and that's, in terms of pursuing your passion, that's the job you kind of have to get. Like that's if you want to be able to live in an expensive city like that. You know what?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of pursuing a passion, like you do what you need to do. Like you do it. We both did it for about the same amount of time. I want to say probably at this point in
About
time.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, both. No,
2.5 years for me.
acting.
Oh no, that was
12, 10. So 12, 10. So we pretty much pursued it for the same amount of time. Like really. And we honestly probably had the same amount of success, to be honest, across the board. Like,
yeah, little fun things here and there. Get paid
fun things
sometime.
here and there, and we made most of our money scraping by because we'd invest it in things that we thought was what we needed. So that's the thing. Like we came out of that with different like passions and growth, which is kind of like sometimes you have to do when you're pursuing something. It's totally okay to switch to something else, and it's not necessarily like I think people like think this thing. It's like, oh, if I don't get my passion, if I don't get this one thing that I'm obsessed with, that I fail. It's like you didn't fail. Like you tried. Like that's and it's something that people need to understand. It's okay. It's honestly braver to, like, I'm not like patting myself on the back. It's harder to switch if you've been committed to something so long, because then you get in this trench. Then you get in this trench and you can't get out. And you were like, I'm committed. I said I was gonna do this. And you know what? It's honestly like, it's braver to say, you know what? I tried something. I put my all into it. It didn't work out. I'm gonna try something new.
Familiarity can be extraordinarily reassuring, even if that familiarity is slightly undesirable. Even if you don't like what you're doing, it's difficult to step away from it if it's familiar, because that familiarity can be comforting. Because at least it's not, it's order. It's still order. It's not the chaos of the unknown. It's like, yeah, this sucks, but it's the suck that I know. So.
I get what you mean, but that's gonna go some places.
That's the bumper for the
that's the bumper.
For the
That's the bumper for the truth.
It's the suck that you know.
It's the suck that you wait. Say it one more time, just for posterity's sake.
I mean, yeah, sure, it sucks, but it's the suck that you know.
Exactly. It does make sense though. It's like you get used to your own, like it's the guy, like it's like I think that's even like a proverb or something. You're just used to your own filth. You're just like, it just becomes you. Like you don't even realize it.
The key thing is, like, look, a job like that for Cole and I was a means to an end. It was a means to provide the capital necessary to invest in things like acting classes, or if you want to finance if you're on TikTok and you want to finance some, I don't know, some cool things that happen in your TikTok more than just, hey, I'm in my kitchen doing back and forth, saying something silly. If you want to like go somewhere and do something in an unusual place, or buy something, destroy it, or I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, no, it gives you freedom. It genuinely does. Honestly, if I went back in terms of like pursuing acting, I would take half the amount of acting classes because I think most of them are trash. In hindsight,
most are trash.
Most are trash. I would say, guys, if for any actors who are like watching this podcast for like that, I actually might have Brad on at some point here. Bradley.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I have Bradley at some point.
I love Brad.
Brad. Okay, so Brad is a working actor. There's a difference. Yes. So he's gonna be interesting to talk to because he's doing something with it. He's got a family. He's like, but we're on the other end where Joey and I are kind of like in the same boat in terms of like things we've done. But I'm gonna say this: acting classes are pretty much trash, and I think he would agree. Because what he does does like intensives. He does like the once a year intensives to like really like sharpen his stuff up.
I mean, there's it's so hard to tell like somebody how to act. I mean,
well, no, not tell people how to act, but like oh wait, I see what you're saying. Pardon me. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, like so. For example, you'd think, well, it's like I want to learn how to be an actor. What do you do? Well, you need to take a class on to learn how to act, because some people have a personality that's outgoing and gregarious, and I want to perform. I want you to look at me, which means I'm going to be expressive and I'm going to pretend to be other things. And that's the nugget, that's the beginning of what it is. And then you have to like, okay, you need to be a little bit larger than life so that you're not boring, but then you need to also be just realistic enough so that people don't think you're a cartoon. So
honestly, I think the cartoons work more, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, but for some people,
it was like the cartoons that seemed to work more, but that was just on my end, maybe.
So, like, for example, Brad's wonderful because Brad has this very deep, scratchy, throaty voice.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like Billy Idol or something. Not Eilish, Billy Idol. Zoomers, look up Billy Idol. And
I was like, Brad. I promise you this. I think millennials are more listening to this than Zoomers. But just in case, yes, look them up.
Yeah. So Brad would say to me while we were working, Brad would say things like, he'd give me advice on certain things because he'd been an actor longer than I had. And I'd be like, Brad, I love having you here. You're like my work dad. He goes, Joey, I swear to God, if I were your dad, I would have smothered you so long ago with a pillow. Your fantasy means nothing to me.
Sounds better. That sounds. That's yeah. I think it's basically he's the guy. It's like that you work with that threatens you, but you know he likes you.
Yeah, he threatens you because he likes you.
He threatens you. If he's not threatening you, he doesn't like you.
Yeah. What a funny thing.
It's love language, threatening people. But yeah.
I mean, so passion wise, get back to passion, I guess, because that is what you asked me about.
Yeah.
I mean, I for the longest time I did think that acting was my passion, and really what it was performing. I like to be expressive, and I like to do voices. I like to do impressions of people, as I've done it several times already.
You're probably going to do this podcast at some point in time, just for the record.
I mean, it's fun to do stuff, and I like to express things verbally. So I didn't need to be acting necessarily. I needed to be doing something in that vein. I needed to be doing some sort of presentational thing. And there's so many ways to do that.
And I think we get like we got enamored by like the acting world and all its like shiny things and the success. Yeah. So like but honestly what you said right there hits the nail on the head. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean it's the right thing. And I think
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's it. That's generally it. So, but yeah,
I would say this: like the world of acting, trying to make a living, a real living as an actor, is sort of like saying, "I'm going to be a professional gambler."
Professional gambler, you said?
Yeah, some people can do it. How do they do it? I'm not exactly sure. It's there is some raw talent there. You have to understand the complexities and the math of how gambling actually works, but then you also have to be one of those people who can intuit. Now is my time. And I have it's called the magic, they have that magic thing that je ne sais quoi, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
You got to be really careful when you're pursuing something like that. Don't let your passion make you blind. Suppose be a good.
Ooh, that's good.
Blind to the realities, and make sure you take care of yourself and people who need you and things like that.
You're breaking it. You're breaking in and out actually a little bit right there. Can you say
it's because I got too quiet, I bet.
Okay, yeah.
So my mic didn't pick it up.
Yeah, so say it one more time, essentially like what you just said, kind of like don't let your passions. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't let your passion make you blind. Make sure you can take care of yourself, and that requires not just starry-eyed dreaminess. You need to think critically about like, okay, well, how does a person make money in this way? How does an actor make money? Well, they make money by getting paid for acting jobs. Okay, how often do you get an acting job?
Once every few
years.
Once
a year? Yeah. Okay, well then how much does that acting job need to pay you once a year for you to scrape by? Los Angeles, to scrape by $34,000.
33, somewhere in that range. Yeah, minimum.
Scrape by. It's like, well, there aren't a whole lot of those. There are very few of those. So you need to be doing lots of things, which means you need to start creating revenue streams, which means you need to learn how you make money doing different things. That's business, and you should learn a little bit about how that works.
We're gonna hit that over the head a lot here because I think it's just the truth, and I think people are still not gonna listen. But you're gonna see here's the thing: if I was making enough money while I was doing the acting, stresses would be way less stressful to do, and honestly, I could still see myself doing it if I was more secure financially back then. But I wasn't. I was always not financially secure because I was always, it's all about the art and starving artist and just like it's just don't. That's basically what he said. Don't let the passion blind you to what you need to do.
It's romantic. It's
romantic. Totally, yeah. It's like it's movie star things where it's like, oh yeah, I struggled. I was, doing the Jeremy Renner thing. I was lighting candles in my house to bake toast, like whatever he was doing. Like that's.
It's romantic. So is Romeo and Juliet. And how does that end?
Which version?
Not well. Yeah, man. I mean, for me at least, what's on my plate next is that I remember the guy my former clan leader who invited me to do the podcast originally. When I started streaming, I put a lot of effort into that, and it did pay off. I mean, he asked me what to. He says, "Well, where do you logically expect this to go? Like, how high do you think you can take this?" I don't know. I don't think my game has enough of a player base, especially a player base connected to Twitch, for me to blow up and make a living off this. It just, the numbers aren't there. So,
that's something. That's for sure. I mean, that's streaming. That's realism. That's realistic. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, if I wanted to, then go, oh shoot, well, I want to be a streamer.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean then you've failed and that you've just wasted your time. I learned an enormous amount. I also built a following. Like I think I have 3.4 thousand followers on Twitch right now, which is like, it's not incredible, but that's something.
I think in terms of Twitch to other, that's the thing. A few thousand followers on one platform is worth just as much as like 100,000 on another platform. It just like it.
Sure.
It definitely varies. So
and that can help you grow something else too. If you start cross-pollinating and say, guys, I'm starting to make stuff for YouTube now, or I'm making TikToks, whatever, you can let those people know.
Yeah.
You followed me because you liked something about me. You might also like this. Do me a favor, check it out. And that helps you consolidate and, you know, keep some of the equity of that effort that you put in, so it's not a waste.
Now, in terms of like switching passions, because that's what you did, like, what was your mental approach to it? Like, because it's like, I think it seemed like kind of like when did you like stop pursuing entertainment industry stuff? Not that to say that you haven't, like, if an opportunity opened up, but like right now you're not pursuing it at all, right?
No, slightly before the pandemic, I would say.
So actually, literally same boat. Okay, cool. So
yeah. I just started to get like very frustrated, and not even frustrated, but more just apathetic. That's probably the better word. Apathetic. Just I don't care.
Yeah, we're literally the same person.
So I mean, it's just started. It's like I don't really care. I'll go out for auditions. Sure, you don't get it, fine. I wish I had that attitude when I started, because man, I just like fixate over auditions and do this right. It's like, no, you did a great job.
We'd probably work more, to be honest.
Yeah, it did. I got more work in the later end.
Yeah, right. Because you're just like, screw it, I don't care.
It wasn't the right kind of work for long-term success. So, you know, oddly enough, right around the time when I had sort of been like, I don't know what to do now, but I make too much money at this place where I work, so I can't stop.
Like the restaurant,
yeah, I can't arbitrarily change jobs, you know, unless it's like for a reason. I sort of was like, well, you know what happened, and then of course, as the fates would have it, pandemic shuts down everything, so out of work without a choice. So I thought, well, I'm sitting at home and might as well just start streaming. You know, again, I had the benefit of the fact that, like many others during the pandemic, I was on unemployment, so I could stream with a steady income source coming in that still allowed me to spend a whole day streaming if I wanted.
Yep.
So I feel like
also don't do that, folks, anymore. But that's different. That's another topic.
Be careful about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I would suggest to anybody who does like streaming or wants to, like, if you're going to stream and you want a thing to sort of attach to your name, like, find tournaments or find special events. Say, I'll cast for you if you want. Like, I'll watch and I'll live stream it.
Yeah.
If that's something they're okay with a delay, or if it's competitive, then you can advertise to people. I will be streaming this thing. They get to know you. If they like your commentary, they will come back. That's how I got over half my followers came from 2 tournaments that I cast, just because.
You know what's funny? The way you said that, it's fine. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Actually, it's because that you pursued your last passion as an actor, that you put yourself out there. Because honestly, a lot of people won't go do that. A lot of people won't go ask that person, hey, can I stream your stuff? Can I cast your thing off the site? You did things that you picked up as a talent in the entertainment industry. That is something that people do. Because, you know.
Please love me.
Love me.
Let me please be a part of your thing.
No, but like, actually, that's funny. It's like, because you pursued one passion, and yeah, you're not working on it, but the skills that you drew from that, as you said, you can pull into something else. And you pulled that into there. And I think that works. I'd never heard of that. That's actually funny. So you just asked like the World of Warships people. It's like, hey, can I just co-stream and cast it?
Well, so specifically this might be a good way to segue into, you know, where I'm now, which is that, so I was part of a competitive clan. I was competing in the game at a competitive level, and I was streaming. And we have a tournament that happens twice a year in World of Warships called King of the Sea. It's actually a very big event, and
that's actually when your numbers pick up for, like, I noticed, like, World of Warships picks up a lot for that.
Yes, it does. Because I mean, the game company advertises it heavily. They pull out all the stops to try and get as many eyeballs on your stream as possible.
Right.
I let people know that I would be casting. I actually was co-casting with a friend of mine, so we tag teamed casting these matches.
Yeah.
All I had to do is tell the people who, at the time, it was run independently away from the game company. They have since purchased it, by the way.
Oh,
pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, keep that in mind, people. If you ever want to start a tournament and it gets big enough, the game company might then be like, "How would you like some money for your tournament? Can we buy that from you?"
Yeah.
Yes, please. So I started casting those matches, and then I'd put those up on YouTube boom, I have content. And then I could say, hey, anybody, I could advertise that on the tournament website. Hey, if you missed it, here are the matches with my commentary. You can start to do stuff like that, and it's a reason for people to watch you. Right. So I did that 2 times, and then when the international tournament occurred, which happens at the end of every King of the Seas tournament, then it goes North America, Russia, EU, Asia. They have their own regional tournament, and then they have internationals where the top 3 teams from each one all compete against each other. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it actually got to the point where the actual company, Wargaming, the company, they invited me to come be one of the post and pre-match analysis.
Sick.
Yeah. So I got to be on the official stream, which shot my following numbers up through the roof. I got to basically be on with their spokespeople talking about before the games happen and after the games. Here's what I see happening with this lineup. We know this clan is this way. You know, they like playing this way. It's like ESPN for video games on a small scale, and it was just delightful. So that has led me to basically then feel comfortable applying for a job that opened up with the company itself. And I've actually applied for several jobs, 2 of which didn't work out, where the travel and the location didn't quite work out. But it's entirely possible in the near future that I will actually join Wargaming as an employee. So.
Sweet. Congrats, man.
You know, that's you just never quite know what's gonna happen, but when you make some effort and try, something can happen. So,
yeah, I think that's you did take I mean, generally, you took what you had. It's like, you know, passion A is not working, but let's pursue this new passion. And it's kind of funny in how short of a time, comparatively, how well you've done. Like, with
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you really have done really amazing in terms of just across the board, and to get a job out of it, dude. Even that's like, you know how many like streamers. I know a lot of streamers that actually, like, not a lot. I know a few that have kind of taken that same route. They got really involved with this specific game. They became the face of the game, and then the company's like, hey, you want to come over and, like, you know, cast our stuff and like do that kind of thing. Like, not to your like hosting level, but like just like to be a face for them for some community stuff. But no, it's honestly it's you've done it right. You really have.
Thank you.
Because honestly, yeah, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, the offside is, of course, that I am sort of, there's a box that I probably can't get out of, or I'm restricted by in the game as a streamer of the game, which is, you know, the player base and the engagement on Twitch. There's a definite limit.
A ceiling.
Yeah, there's a ceiling. There are a few people, I would say, streamers who can make a full living out of it, but even then, it's not as if they're not raking it in necessarily.
Not like I think a lot of people, and you understand about streamers. A lot of streamers, like, most of them are probably making like a couple $100 a year, like, and then actually most of them are probably not even making that. So majority are making nothing. A lot are making, like, you know, a few thousand, and then honestly, like, a lot of them probably make the same if you're working like a minimum wage job.
Probably, yeah. That's where most people fall in. Yes.
Yeah, most people fall into the minimum wage category with a few hundred subs a month kind of thing.
The mega streamers, like guys like Disguised Toast, for example.
Love him.
He's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
They're rare. They're the Brad Pitts.
Yeah.
Quote me on that. Like, they're
Disguised Toast is the Brad Pitt. Okay.
Of streamers, yeah. I mean,
of streamers. Okay, yeah.
Those people are likely making a lot because they have integrated all of their social medias and all their interactivity, ways of interacting, and therefore sort of giving to them or earning for them, like YouTube videos with ads or what have you. It's back to that Pareto distribution. Once something grows very large, it attracts more. So they become juggernauts.
They're the ones that rise.
Rare.
It really it does. Yeah, it's rare, but like, honestly, that's the thing. I think people, when they pursue streaming, they need to understand. It's like I've seen, you know, I want to say 3 streamers, or I'd include you in this mix, that have done very well in a short period of time, but because they stuck to something small, a niche, and they worked off at that. There's only been one streamer that I know out of the mix that went variety, and like, she got lots of attention and she's doing great, and she's averaging like 2,000 streamed kind of thing, which is like anything over, honestly guys, anything over a couple hundred viewers average,
kind of amazing.
That's amazing. Like, that's those numbers. Like, people think on YouTube, oh, millions. People think in terms of millions. No. On Twitch, averaging that around is probably the equivalent of like a channel like of that size. To be frank, Like if you're averaging a few 100,000 views a video, that's about the same size as a 200 viewer stream.
Yeah, because it's live. I mean, it's
not just 200 people sitting there. It's 200 people being there at all times consistently. So that's the thing.
The total watch hours is probably equally as high.
Yeah.
If you were to think of it that way. If you have, 1 million views on a 5-second YouTube video, that's impressive. That really is impressive. But if you have 20,000 people watching you for 5 hours, 6 hours, that's equally as impressive.
No, it's that's the biggest issue with Twitch is getting the eyes on the streams, but that's why we use the clickbait titles and everything else in between and the thumbnails.
I just need a hot tub. Actually, for fun, I took a GIF of a hot tub that I found on the internet, and I made myself a background for my opening screen when I come in from the intro opening screen. Me in a hot tub riding a giant floaty banana. Perfect.
What you should have done is got your tub, and you should have played Battleships in the tub.
Damn it! Should have done that. You're not going to sue me if I take this idea.
You go for it. You go for it. Please take it.
Thanks, buddy.
I got no problem people taking these.
Professional courtesy.
Professional courtesy. Please, I couldn't use that. Why that? That's just an idea that's just there. You can use that though.
All right. Well, so Cole, the question is, hot tub stream when?
I actually had an idea. I had one. Not like I only said I would do it for subs, but I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it a certain way.
Well, yeah, you got to make them pay for that.
Hell yeah, I ain't doing that. So I was gonna do this. It was called the fancy hot tub. Never happened. I'm fine it didn't happen because I put it to an obscene amount of subs. I was like, I was like, all right, guys, 2,500 subs, and I'll do a fancy hot tub stream. So
damn, Judah.
We hit 2,000 that month, but well, no, not like 2,000 like consistently. It was like just 2,000 gifted throughout the entire month.
I got you.
It's not consecutively. Like, let's be honest. That's the thing. Basically, what I was gonna do is I was gonna get a hot tub, and I was just gonna get like a suit, either cheap or whatever, and I was gonna have an entire just chatting in a suit, with a glass of whatever, or just reading and talking. That would have been the fancy hot tub. Ambient music. That's it.
That would be the ultimate troll to your audience too.
Yeah.
My Twitch streamers, for example, my Twitch viewers, most of them are men in their 30s, because that's a lot of who plays World of Warships. That's a lot of the people who are familiar with me. They love to tease me and say, Boggzy bikini hot tub when, stuff like that.
Well, you got a lot of veterans in your stream, don't you?
Yeah, veterans, because a lot of veterans play World of Warships.
Right.
So it would be a wonderful thing for me to troll them by saying, okay, guys, you get me to 1,000 gift subs, I'll do a hot tub stream.
Yeah.
And then literally put on a suit and get in a hot tub. Not like a swimsuit, a suit, a suit and tie, and get in the hot tub. Be like, I told you I'd put on a suit and get in the tub.
That's what I was gonna do, but I didn't hide the fact. I said it's always a fancy hot tub, and people asked, I didn't tell people. I only told a few people what was up, because I'm Mr. Wholesome Streamer, so I can't I'm Mr. Wholesome Streamer, so I can't commit. That's my goal: be most wholesome league streamer. Good luck to me. I picked the saltiest. I picked the saltiest games. I picked Dark Souls, Bloodborne, freaking League.
Yeah.
I was like, bring it. I could be nice.
That's your thing. That's your thing, Nev,
No, but it was just, so we need to see you playing Battleships in a tub. Now.
Me playing the game Battleships
in a tub. You should get your girlfriend, you each just wear normal clothes, just in a tub playing literal battleships.
That would be kind of incredible. Brie and I do a hot tub stream in clothes playing Battleship.
Playing Battleships. Date night Battleships.
Yeah. You heard it first here, folks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
See, I'm just so fun. I'm good at ideas. Actually, I am solid at giving ideas. I'm solid at giving other people ideas.
Isn't that the old euphemism? It's always so much easier to give fix someone else's problem than it is to fix our own.
I know, right? I want to fix. If Joey needs fixing, we gotta fix Joey.
Gotta help him. Gotta help him out here.
He needs help. He's
I need help with my light consistency, because the light's been going down outside.
Well, you have sunshine there right now, right?
I did, and now it's dark, so my light keeps changing.
What you can do is you can turn the back light, right? You can turn one of those lights in the back, actually. If you need to take a second to do it. Yeah, go do it. Take a second.
It's okay. Here, let me try this one. Now I look like I'm in an oven, in an oven next to a turkey.
Yeah, you look very, very Wonder Bread level of white. But
one of those self tanners. Yikes.
You're still in the machine.
Well, I will also say this to anybody wanting to make content or creativity or anything like that, is that make sure that whatever you're doing has a consistency to it, consistency of time. You told me this when I started streaming. You said, make sure you have a consistent stream time. I'm turning this back off. You have a consistent stream time so that people know when to see you and they can rely on that. Make sure you're doing something consistently. If you're playing a game, play that game for a while. And then, you know,
2+ hours.
Yeah. And then one of the things that I kind of figured out on my own from doing my podcast was to have a rotating variable in every episode. So it's consistently in every episode, but it rotates. So for my podcast, for example, we would talk to clan leaders, we'd talk to clan people or content creators, streamers, what have you, or even employees of the game company. Yeah. And we had a segment called Sink a Ship. So rather than just talk about the parameters of a ship, talk about, you know, thoughts on what's competitive, what's not, talk about your clan culture, suddenly you get to hear an opinion, a straight up opinion, which is personality from the person coming on, which is, okay, you get to delete a ship from the game. Not a line of ships, not a class of ships, one ship. You get to take one ship, target it, make it feel small and weak and worthless, and remove it from the game. What's it going to be?
So can I piggyback off that?
By all means.
Okay. So what is one thing you wish you were super passionate about?
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good. One thing I wish that I was very passionate.
That's something I'm just going to ask you from now on, too. So, starting stream, what do you find passionate at some point in the stream? Like, what would you wish you were passionate about?
Yeah. I really wish that I was passionate about music. And I'm not. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I enjoy music. I like music. But if you ask me if I want to go see a concert, I'll be like, why would I want to stand for 3 hours? You know, like,
you think of the logic behind it?
Yeah, I swear to God. Like, if you told me, would you like to go see the London Philharmonic do Star Wars live, which I've seen at the Hollywood Bowl, by the way, I'd be like, yes. But there's a familiarity about that to me already.
You're not going to say, hey, let's go watch Mozart at like at the Met, right? Or yeah, see, it's
probably not. If it's Mozart, I'd be like, I've never seen that before. That might be interesting. But if you're like, hey, do you want to go see this band? I'd be like,
you mean okay, to be fair though, how many times have we been said, hey, why don't you come check out my buddy's band in LA? Why don't you go check out my buddy's improv? Like, they're all the same. A lot. They're all bad. Like, you get the occasional good one, but
I went to see Thomas, our coworker Thomas, who's a white rapper who has Dreamcatcher earrings, by the way.
He's Dreamcatcher earrings? Oh, that's right, he
was a rapper. Yep. He's a rapper.
What's his name? What's his name? Like his thing.
I knew it.
Yeah. I forgot too, so he's gonna get mad at us. It's fine.
Shoot, he's gonna get mad.
He's gonna get mad.
I went and watched him. He was fantastic because he was unique and unusual, and he earned the respect, by the way. Mm-hmm. He earned the respect of everyone in that room who might have
Handsome Boy Banks.
Handsome Boy Banks.
Handsome Boy Banks is his name. I didn't have to look. I was about to look that up. I remember. Okay.
He was great, and he earned everybody's respect in that room. So, you know, props to Handsome Boy Banks. You're a champ, Thomas.
He's an example of someone that's super passionate about music. But no, that's I think actually a lot of people can relate to that. It's like they got that instrument just sitting around that are like not touching it. Do you have an instrument in your room right now?
Do
you have an instrument in your room?
I have 2 guitars that I haven't touched since college. 2 guitars I haven't touched since college.
Right. So, okay, but in terms of, I guess the third question is more like, what was your approach to each and every day where it's like, it doesn't get old? Like, what is the thing? Like, is it even just like something you think about now, or is it like...
shooty pixel boats or music?
No, like shooty pixel boats. Like, when we're talking about music, it's something you want to be passionate about, but like, how do you take like your passion for like warships or like acting into warships? How did you take that something else?
I mean, it's a good question. For me, the process of optimizing competitive skills is actually very fun. I really like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I like stress testing. I like to stress test, matchups. Yeah. How does this work in a one-on-one? The game has a variety of modes that rotate and cycle. So, this game is not built for 1v1, but every once in a while they'll put a little game mode in, which is 1v1. And then you can go, okay, if I'm really good at this ship, if I run into these games, how often will I win versus not? And if you really want to, you can go crazy and like catalog, okay, here's how many times I ran into this ship. Here's how many times I won. And then you can just start to draw broad conclusions that can benefit you further in understanding how something can be further optimized. I like doing that. So for me, there was this broad desire to just get as good as I can at all these boats, which means, hey, I haven't played this boat in a while. Maybe I suck at it. Let's find out. There's something delightful about
It's
that.
the delightful curiosity to
Yeah.
finding out.
Yeah. But it did get tough at times where it's like, I don't have a ranked game mode. I don't have a competitive game mode to play right now. So what am I doing? Well, I don't know. I started putting in channel point redemptions that would screw with the game. Like, destroyers are called DDs. They're small, they're maneuverable, they're fast, they're hard to spot, that sort of thing. So since those are the fastest, I said, okay, for 10,000 channel points, you can make me play a game of NASCAR DD. What are the rules of NASCAR DD? You can only go forward and turn left.
That's
you can't back up or turn right.
That's good.
It's not easy. And
No, but it's interesting.
It made for some very entertaining content. If you do find things to be getting repetitive, get weird. Like, start thinking, can I do this with these start giving yourself handicaps and see, is this impossible? Is this just dumb? Is this hilarious?
I used to do that with when I was doing it's funny, I figured out how to do variety streaming at the end of when I said I'm not full-time streaming anymore. There was one time, like the last month, I figured it out. So what I do,
that's how it works.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny, but it's fine. It's honestly okay because it's peace of mind is better than that. So what happened was, off of what you just said, very similar. It's like I played Skyrim, crowd control Skyrim, where people would come in and they can mess with the game with like channel points or bits. Channel points is like a loyalty thing. Like if you watch long enough, you accumulate them, and so everyone has a currency that always is rising if you're watching more. So
free loyalty currency.
It's free loyalty currency. You don't have to pay for. Bits are Twitch's currency. Like you pay $1.
Bezos bucks.
Bezos bucks. You pay $1, you get like $1's worth, kind of like that's the deal. It's like an exchange, where the house still wins. But but
it ain't 1-to-1, brother.
Yeah, so it was like Skyrim. Skyrim's like everyone's played Skyrim, right? So the first thing was like, all right, we're gonna complete the entire campaign and we're gonna do the DLC, and you guys are just gonna try to stop me the entire time. Great. So they summon dragons, teleport me everywhere. But then that got a little stale into itself. Just in terms of like, that's the same thing over and over again. Like, all right, how many times can you summon a dragon or launch me 30 feet in the air and still be funny?
The novelty wears off. Yeah.
The novelty wears off. So what I did was instead, I figured I was like, okay, I need to run from Riften to Winterhold, which is just like Markarth, like 2 opposite ends of the map. I have to run, just in-game run, and I have 30 minutes. And if I don't succeed, I have to do like a challenge. I have to like eat like a hot pepper, or I gotta like do 1,000 push-ups, whatever it is. Like there's some stakes now to it. So people are trying to stop me from doing things in games. So people are like, they want to like see, it's like becomes you versus them. So in terms of that, it's very similar.
Yeah, it is. That's where the creativity aspect comes in. And I feel like some people are predisposed to be better at creative, like out of the box thinking like that. Others are predisposed to be more orderly and how do I create that formula so that how do I create the consistency for each stream, or they're better at that. Whereas like you need to do your best to find a way to marry the two so that you have the consistency that's critical to keeping your viewers engaged, as well as the creativity that's critical to keeping what keeps them engaged from getting stale.
Right.
I think they call it a double helix, and it's the building block of DNA.
Double helix.
They have to be intertwined and constantly working together.
Are there any ideas that you haven't gotten the chance to do yet, kind of thing?
I mean, not sure. I tried some things. I tried like replay reviews and stuff like that.
Some things just don't work.
Difficult. Some things just don't work.
Some things just don't work. Twitch is a good place to try it. That's something that you can do on Twitch that you can't do a lot of places. Like, try it. If it doesn't work, you just don't come back to it.
Yeah, and you can gauge how it's working, whether or not people are enjoying it, and if it's bringing people, if it generates content for you like a YouTube video, if it's something that, hey, I did this thing that's 10 minutes long, I can then snip that from my stream, export it to YouTube, advertise, hey, you missed it yesterday, check it out, it's on my YouTube channel.
I'll say that in terms of create FOMO, in terms of like people missing that, create FOMO, like create it, like that's the draw for all that kind of streaming. But so in terms of like, so keeping the passion alive is just like, that's such a weird way to put it. Keeping your passion alive, keeping the passion alive. No, keeping your passions alive for what you want to do. So basically just like you're adding some sort of variety into it and you're attacking it from just a different angle. Any chance to get stale.
I like, if you've ever played the Call of Duty games, there's a game mode in it called Gun Game.
Yes.
Gun Game meaning, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like, since these are first-person shooters, the idea is it's all for themselves. Everybody starts with the most basic, simple, single-firing weapon you can, and every time you get a kill, every time you score a point, your gun immediately upgrades to the next most logical
pistol, then like a machine gun pistol, then a submachine gun, and just moves up.
Yeah, then big rifles, and it just gets up until the very end when the very last one is usually something extraordinarily difficult to use.
Usually like
That's
a
the threshold.
knife or a shovel, something stupid.
Yeah.
It's just
Something
like
melee, usually something where you have to get close to somebody else who might have a rocket launcher at this point.
yeah. I love that
That's
game.
the idea is you progress every time you win. So for a while there, I would say, okay, I'll be playing the American battleship line today. We're gonna do gun game. So I'd start at one of the low tiers. I'd play through that. Every time I'd win,
love that. Okay.
every time I win, I would move up the line and play the next one. You have to be game rich like I do, where I have all the ships purchased and available.
Is that where your money went? Just kidding.
My real money, my in-game money went to that. But and then it's like, okay, well, in gun game, if somebody melees you, you digress a game. Which adds just a fun dynamic to it. So I said, if I were to happen to detonate in the game, and detonate is basically when somebody hits your magazine under one of your turrets and blows you up instantly, it's instant death.
Yeah.
Then I have to go back and low. But it does happen.
Yeah.
I'd say once every 2 game, one person out of 24 will detonate.
Oh, really?
So it's pretty low, but it does happen.
Okay.
But again, you just find, and then so if I detonate in game, I go backwards one. That's why when it happens, it's exciting.
That's that honestly, you could take that. Like, honestly, I know this isn't necessarily like a streamer advice channel, like in terms of pocket, but you can really take that a lot of places. Like, even just stealing an idea from another game and putting it on top of like a regular thing. That's a genius. Like, nice job.
Yeah. Look at game modes in other games and then go, how could I do that on my stream? How could I make that content?
Right. In terms of like this, like the Souls community, like what you do is like you just do different weapons, and that's been done to death a little bit because it's more innate in that community to like say, all right, I'm going to play with the longsword, I'm going to play with the two-handed sword, then I'm going to play with like a whip, then I'm going to play with this. Like you go up and up and up, but you did it in a very cool way where it was basically the dynamic wasn't changing from stream to stream, it was changing in the same stream. So
yes, but there's a logical consistency to it,
right? Exactly.
And
so this week we're doing Russian, this week we're doing ships.
Right.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, what happens? What do I do if I win too many times in a row? It's like, oh well, I went up all the way to the tier 10. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, you have the chat vote, and they have polls now. You have the chat vote on what's the next line to do. Keep going. Or if somebody, you could say, use your donations. Like a donation of this amount, we'll play that next. Yeah, something like that. It's a great way to get some earning potential for yourself and also interaction for your audience.
Yeah, don't be ashamed, guys, to like, if you're doing it's like the classic Joker line, if you're good at something, never do it for free. Like that's streaming in it. There, you do better than me. That's the streaming, like, don't feel bad don't feel bad for asking for money to do something with content. Offer everything for free that you can, but like, if there's
always have an option for payment.
There you go. Yeah, because like, listen, you need to eat. Like there was
also value yourself to a certain degree.
Yeah.
List a bunch of things for free, like Cole said, but then always say, if you pay, you can top. That's the top.
Yeah.
So there's a hierarchy of value there that you can.
My role for payment and stream is like if the focus of the stream is going this way and you want to do something over here, like that's where payment comes in. It's like if you want to like derail.
Lateral.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's actually someone. So basically, one time a guy like said, "How much to like? Can you play this game?" I was like, "Well, dude, I'm not. That's not like a game. It's like he wanted to play a puzzle game. It was a fun puzzle game. I love doing it. But I was like, dude, I don't play puzzle games. It's not my jam in terms of like what my content is across the board. Like, and I was like, honestly, man, it's like if you want to like do that, like. If you can throw the game my way, or if you can like cover like some time, that kind of thing, then yeah, I'm totally open to doing it. He's like, all right, game. And so he sent me the game, or at least he sent me enough to buy the game and then some to like cover like enough to like do it for an entire stream. Value your time, folks. And that's totally fine to do. You're not being rude. Like you're not like money grubbing as some people think you are. It's no, you have value.
Yeah. And that's where it comes in. It's like, you'll do a bunch of things for free for the sake of the stream, but there's always a payment option for those who want to see something extra of a higher value. So yeah, do that.
We're not saying hot tub stream. You don't need to do that if you don't want to.
You don't have to hot tub stream.
You don't have to hot tub stream.
You don't have to do ear licking ASMR.
Why did that become the thing? Why was that the next logical gun game?
It makes the hair on the back of your neck stick up, brother. It's weird.
It's strange. It's like there's other play. Anyway, beside the point. That topic's been talked to you to death. People have no idea what you're talking about. What?
It's fine. You just need to get on board the Coltrane.
Stop it.
Coltrane needs an ASMR car. ASM car.
ASMR car. No, thank you. No, thank you, please. No.
Well, Cole, I have to get out of here and
Yeah.
help make dinner for my whammon in the next 5 minutes or so here. Was there anything else we didn't cover? that you
We can
wanted to
cover. We
talk
can
about?
We can meet again. To be very honest, because I think you and I could probably talk for a long, long time.
I'm sure we could. Anytime
Yeah.
you want, brother.
Perfect. Sounds good. If you want to plug your stuff, plug all
Yeah.
your stuff.
I stream on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/BoggzyTime. That's BOGGZY time. I have a YouTube channel. You can literally search for the same thing. I have, if you want to sort of see what my stream entails, I take snippets, like single fun games from my stream, and I upload them to YouTube. So you can there's a catalog there. You can look through those. I also have a podcast about warships. It is also on my YouTube channel as well. I upload it to Anchor and to YouTube, so it can be found there.
Perfect. And then any last I guess just words of any last thing you'd say to somebody that's really going through that, trying to find what they want to find passion wise.
I guess I would say if you're passionate about something that it captivates your attention enough, give it its credit, give it its time, give it its due, and figure out why do you care about that? Is it because it makes you angry? Okay, it makes you angry. Well, then what needs to happen? And think about what can you do realistically about it. And then kind of go, well, if that's a problem for me, what's the first logical step towards fixing that problem? And then what do I need in order to begin working on that problem? And if it's something you enjoy, do it. Do that thing that you enjoy, and then start asking yourself, well, would I want to make a living out of this? And if you can, you have to think carefully and critically about well, how does money come into this thing? How do I create value out of it? And that's tough, especially if you're an artistic creative type and you're money, business, those are dirty words. I don't like those. Get off your high horse. You need to be able to provide for yourself and possibly for other people as well at some point in your life. So shake hands with the devil and realize that you need to be able to earn.
Perfect. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on through.
My pleasure. And actually, thank you for talking to me about streaming, because you and I would be standing there at the service well. I'd be making drinks for you while you're, in between tables, and you'd talk to me about streaming. Yeah. Well, I mean, you talked to me about streaming, and I'd be fascinated with what you were telling me, and that set the stage for me to then do so again in the pandemic when I had nothing to do. So thank you specifically for having me here now, but also for being open and sharing that with me, and then giving me advice as I was growing. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. Thank you so much. Sincerely, you returned the favor tenfold. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother. You take care, and I'll
keep you
jump in and check
updated,
on your ship.
and we'll definitely do this again because I think we could definitely talk about way more.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much for watching the video. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to these patrons right here who allow us to continue making this content. If you would like your name here as well, please check us out on patreon.com/DMCOLETRAIN. Thank you so much.